Hello everyone and welcome to SUNUP. I'm Lyndall Stout. With growing interest in the sheep and goat industries, producers are turning to a method to protect their herds that's been around for centuries. SUNUP's Curtis Hare takes us to the OSU Range Research Station to learn more.
But after a closer look, you'll see it's an animal that's been used to protect livestock for over 1,000 years. A dog.
So they're Akbash. It's a pretty new dog. It's from the country of Turkey. Well, when I say guard dog for goats or sheep, a lot of people are going to think Great Pyrenees. They're still big white dogs. They just don't have that really long hair coat.
Cooper SHERRILL is an Oklahoma State Extension research assistant and is overseeing a study looking into the movements between guard dogs and their herd. Using GPS tracking on both the dogs and the goats, Cooper says giving Oklahoma livestock producers a full picture on these guardians of the prairie is the ultimate goal.
So as the sheep and goat industry continues to grow, I think there's going to be a need for even more guard dogs in the future, obviously. And, you know, the people of Oklahoma need to have some science behind what they're trying to implement out in their pastures.
While this research is exciting, these OSU guard dogs are actually a small part of a larger study. Extension researchers from OSU, Texas A&M, and the University of Nebraska are collaborating to study a two-pronged approach in controlling woody plant encroachment in the southern Great Plains. The approach? Patch burning and grazing goats in the pasture.
You know, with that two-pronged system, we've got both the fire and the goats. And, you know, to have the goats, we got to have the dogs. The dogs allow me to go to sleep better at night. So before we brought in the goats, predators were not a problem out here with the cattle. Every once in a while you'd see a coyote near a new calf that had been born, but now that we have such smaller animals, you know, they're not as intimidating to a coyote.
Cooper says the research team tried using donkeys to protect the goats at first, but still lost several kits to coyotes during the kidding season. Oklahoma Extension wildlife specialist DWAYNE Elmore says having a coyote problem is not uncommon in Oklahoma.
The primary predator that's going to be a problem with livestock is coyotes. They're very widespread and abundant, so almost all the predation that we see on livestock is due to coyotes. So goats and sheep are particularly susceptible, and obviously poultry as well, you know, so smaller animals. But you know, newborn calves are at risk, particularly if the cow is not very protective.
Tall fencing and lethal measures are popular methods in controlling coyotes, but both can be counterproductive, especially killing the animal.
These coyotes have territories, and they're defended territories, so when you take a coyote out, it's usually a vacuum that's filled in quickly, and sometimes by more coyotes. So you might actually increase your predation problems, but often, you know, if you're in an area where there's a lot of dogs that are roaming free, domestic dogs that are roaming free, and/or feral dogs that are being dumped, that might be your bigger problem. And they might not even be killing the livestock, but just the constant harassment and barking and chasing them into fences. So, you know, a good guard dog is going to spend all its time right with the herd, and it's wary and on guard for other, you know, canids, coyotes that might come around.
Since we've got the dogs out here working with the goats, we haven't had any losses.
Guard dogs can be a great asset to a sheep and goat operation, but you can't just throw any old dog out in the pasture and expect good results. The type of breed and bonding the animal to the herd are critical factors.
A lot of the whole guard dog thing starts when they're a puppy. From about 8 weeks to about 20 weeks old, that's a really critical period, and getting them bonded to your livestock and set up in your area.
Once the herd recognizes the dog as a protector, that bond is as strong as a rusted bolt in a stripped nut. Wherever the dog goes, the goats go.
You know, there are some drawbacks to having guard dogs. It's an initial expense, and you know, they take veterinary care, and there's a risk that, you know, they might injure someone's pet that comes too close to the livestock, but they're highly effective at protecting livestock if they're trained.
The guard dog study in the Prairie Project will continue for the next few years, and the pups will keep doing what they're doing. Standing watch, wary and ready, with the goats following closely behind. In Payne County, I'm Curtis Hare.